Shalom. Kal halalim la beno Yahweh Eloheinu b'Hashem Yahushai b'Hashem Racha HaKodash. Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahushai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahushai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahushai. Before I begin, I'm just going to go to a quick scripture. Galatians 6 verse 7. Be not deceived, the Most High Yahweh b'Hashem Yahushai is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. The wickedness that we Israelites committed and got the curses put on us pursuant to Deuteronomy. For example, Deuteronomy 28:64, being scattered, to the four corners of the earth. Deuteronomy 28:54, our eyes shall be evil towards each other, hence the gang banging and the crime amongst the tribes or within the tribes, or, and the broken families. You're trying to get 2 steps ahead. You get 2 steps ahead, but then you get pushed back 3 steps. Then you're going to start all over again. Being in prison houses, all the things, the evil things that we did. Hence the reason why, a good father would punish his children. And we are the Most High Yahweh b'Hashem Yahushai's children. Hence the reason why we got punished so severely and deservedly so, And because we are the Most High's woman, and as an Israelite male, if when you're a younger man, especially, you got a beautiful woman, and even if another man looks at a woman the wrong way, you don't like that. That pisses you off. Your woman could be, stuck up, not even looking that way, but because your woman is so fine. Like you see a beautiful car drive by, everybody has eyes on that beautiful vehicle, and we do, and we do name our vehicles with feminine energy type names, right? Like Daisy or Lucy, or I don't know, something like that, And the real thing, the woman is similar to that. Everybody's going to look at a beautiful woman. Men admire, want to get into her drawers, or which is wickedness because she belongs to somebody else. And women admire as well, out of jealousy and want to be like her, look like her, have a shape like her, have hair like her, have a nose like her, eyes, lips, whatever, titties like her, ass like her, And the Most High is a jealous power, as the scriptures say. And we are the Most High's woman. That's why we got punished so severely, But now, as they say in the world, what goes up must come down. And all these so-called sayings come from the scriptures anyway. What goes up must come down, Esau had his time building America, building other parts of the world where they went and conquered and stole the riches and made their so-called first world a power, Now those people that have come from the countries that were conquered by these crackers, they're calling them, they're calling their countries shithole countries, like Haiti, which is used to power up America. They call countries like India a shithole, when that country was a first world country before Esau ever got there, all the gold, silver, the diamonds, all the artifacts, all the labor, Latin America, they call that shithole. They call parts of Africa shithole, when those are the lands that, made Esau, the so-called white man, rich, So there's a lot of resentment, a lot of hate that's coming right now all across the world. But I'm going to focus on America and the United Kingdom, so-called England or Britain, right? Which, these countries go hand in hand. They're like brother and sister, the UK and America. And I'm going to show you a few snippets of the demise of the so-called white man's world, And the way we the most, we sowed wickedness and we reaped, didn't we? When we go through captivity after captivity, having our children and our women taken off us, going through all these atrocities, I mean, there's such a mountain load and beyond of things that Jake went through. If I went through every single part, we'd be here all day. You know what I mean? We'd be here all day, and still we're the special people of the Most High. And as the scriptures say, Jacob is the former of all things. Jacob, the Israelite man, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, right? As well as the Israelite foreigners, their kith and kin, are from the same bloodline, but assume that there's something else, you know, created everything. All the inventions, the music, the foods, the car styling, the clothes, the hip talk, the well-spoken English, uh, and we know, with, for example, with voices like James Earl Jones will be narrating English and he'd be speaking in the proper dialect with his masculine voice. Esau tries to emulate, for example. Every single fabric, every single intricate part of this world that makes even the so-called white man look cool, which they try and adopt, thinking that they created it, right, is all created by the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Okay, and even in hell, the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, the Israelites, no matter where they're scattered to the four corners of the earth, the 12 tribes, you know, have done wonders, man. They're supermen in their frail bodies. All the things that they've done. The only thing the so-called white man did was invent the patent office. You know, obviously Jacob never had no power. So when they go into the patent office, Esau would just steal his invention and say, "Oh yeah, Edison created the light bulb." No, Edison didn't create no fucking light bulb. That was a so-called black man. Okay, the internet, for example, created by a Nigerian Judite or a Ghanaian Judite. He's from West Africa anyway. I can go on and on and on. All right. So now it's Esau's turn now to reap what they sowed. You know, because as the Lord says, we are the apple of His eye. If you're a father, you've got children. You know, if somebody even looks at your children wrong or tries to hurt them as a father, you want to just want to lick them down. You want to destroy them. You know, but that's how the Most High is with us. We're the apple of the Lord's eye. The Lord punishes us, but the Lord takes care of us too. Yahweh Shem Yahshai does, man. So now it's the Lord, and now we've gone through our licks, and some of us still going through it because Jacob's trouble is going to kick in very soon. So we're getting our licks now, right? So the Lord is building up our faith, taking us right down to that part where our back's against the wall, whether it's financially or whether it's through whatever the situation may be, whether it's your health, whether it's you being homeless, but the Lord's going to come through right in the last final minute, right, and scoop you up and make everything okay, and that's the same things are going to happen during Jacob's trouble, like Psalms 91, paraphrasing scripture: 1,000 shall fall, there's 10,000 at thy right hand and 1,000 at thy left. So lucky if I said it wrong, but you know what I mean. And Psalms 91 and 11. The angels shall have, will have charge over us, man, keeping us in, so Yahweh Shem Shai is with us, protecting us, So your faith is being built up right now while, you're in a so-called good standing, while you got a roof over your head and all that kind of stuff. Because once hell breaks loose, you're getting your licks in now. Now you're going to see Yahweh Shem Shai amplify the miracles the Lord is already showing you. Yeah? But the rest of the world is going to fucking suffer, man. They're going to suffer hard, especially the 2/3, Jake, and the Esau, the heathen, they're going to get it hard, man, because Yahweh Shem Shai hates these crackers, these heathens, and these 2/3, and these heathens, man. And 2/3, of course. Okay, so Galatians 6, verse 7 again. Be not deceived. The Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Now let's go into that video. Let's check out. Now, those of you that are in your mid 40s or late 40s, right? Me personally, I'm in my late 40s. So, I was in my 20s and the 90s, hitting the clubs and all that, ladies and all that kind of thing, Yes, it was a different world. Early 90s, I was fascinated with the show Beverly Hills 90210, growing up in dreary, grey London. You wanted to move to California because you see the women on the beach and the variety of different ethnicities of women as well. Obviously, the white woman was first, because I was a big Pamela Anderson fan because we're men, right? So we're gonna gravitate towards where you see them bumpers. So coming up, you see all these shows. Even a classic comedy show, the Beverly Hillbillies. You're talking about swimming pools, movie stars, big houses, sunshine, palm trees, beautiful women. You think to yourself, I want to move out dreary London, man, go there, you know, train on Muscle Beach, all that kind of shit, you know. But that went out the window anyway, quick time. But now this Edomite, well, he looks like to be an Edomite. He's a German guy. You never know, right? He says Beverly Hills is dying, right? Lots of stores are out of business. Beverly Hills is becoming a ghost town. Okay, and I'm just gonna play the video. You have a look yourself. I'm not gonna play all of it. It's about 19 minutes. Let's see what. Let's just play. Let's see what go. Let's see how it goes.
Welcome to beautiful Beverly Hills, California. You can read it yourself. Beverly Hills is beautiful. Seems like life was always good in the famous area code 90210. We all know it from the.
By the way, fair use. You know, I've got a very minuscule channel, so I'm not making no money out of this. So shout out to this guy, German in Venice. If anybody wants to watch his channel, I think he goes to different parts of the world as well. He's sort of like, you know, you got these people that travel different parts of the world just to film how the world is dying now, how it was, and how it used to be and how it is now. You know, I mean, California is still beautiful, you know, okay, but it's the Lord is squeezing the life out of this Esau's world, because you know what goes up must come down. You know, Esau, the so-called white man's world, was started with a lot of bloodshed, okay, through our people and also their own kind, right? But namely our people. Now it's going to end with a lot of bloodshed and stress and pressure. Okay, it's like a pressure cooker, just you know. And now whistle is was it you got that whistle on the pressure cooker that's going off, and that pressure cooker can't handle the heat anymore, and it's going to explode very soon.
Movies Down and Out in Beverly Hills, or like Beverly Hills Cop, but most likely you've seen the TV show 90210 Beverly Hills, and everybody knows that street with those nice palm trees. But is Beverly Hills still what it used to be in the 80s and 90s? Let's find out. Of course, there's still hundreds of people come down here every day to the famous Beverly Hills sign and take their selfie or picture. But if you just come and visit, you don't really realize it. That Beverly Hills is becoming a ghost town. There's so many stores that close down, but since you live in your own little bubble, you don't see it. You just drive by, you recognize that one store is closing. But if you see the big picture, like last week, I just drove around in Beverly Hills, and this really big place is for rent. You can put a retail store or a restaurant in here. The last time I was here, this was like a pop-up store for like an artist. He was selling his art in here. And right in the heart of Beverly Hills, we got the Chamber of Commerce with a nice Beverly Hills sign. Whenever you enter Beverly Hills, you see one of those signs right next to the Beverly Hills Visitor Center. But if you look across the street, there's already disaster right there. Almost the whole block is out of business. You're going to check.
You saw that, right? Vidal Sassoon? That's an Amalekite. That whole block is out of business. He's got his name on it, though. Yeah? You saw that iconic Beverly Hills sign, right? Where is it again? Where is it? Yeah, this one. That's an iconic sign. You know, those of you who watched movies in the 80s and 90s. You mentioned Down and Out in Beverly Hills with Richard Dreyfuss and Nick Nolte. A good movie, you know. They show an Ishkarite woman being concubine for Esau again in that movie. That's what they do with, you know, with our people, always showing, using us as the as a butt of their jokes. Anyway.
You see one of those signs right next to the empty.
Yeah, Vidal Sassoon.
Lots of property empty. All this empty. Portofino is still open, but the store next to it, out of business. They got Vini Couture, out of business.
It's like parts of the UK as well, what we call the high streets or the malls. They would have like these name brand places, you know, like the stores like Foot Locker, for example, and your Nike Town and all that. The towns are Edomites are leaving, they're going towards maybe the country or going abroad like Spain and France and all that, you know. But they complain about foreigners, but these crackers are going to other lands being foreigners to them. How do you think those so-called indigenous people feel about you damn devils going over there, you know? Esau would call himself an expat, but other people coming to their land, or they assume that this is their land, as migrants, you know. And then yeah, so both, any sort of empty lots or empty places like that, especially here in the UK, you got a lot of Ishmael, a lot of Elam, leasing them or buying them, and making them sort of like those pay-as-you-go places where you can buy mobile phones or secondhand or refurbished mobile phones or laptops and shit like that. Nothing really major, maybe the odd coffee shop or things like that. And this is because what these large name brand organizations are doing is they're pushing and promoting online trading. Okay, getting rid of brick and mortar. Now, for example, I bought a pair of Air Force Ones recently. You buy sneakers and you buy things for yourself when as and when required, or if you're a sneakerhead or whatever. All right, and yeah, the lady goes to me, if you buy it online, you get a better discount. I said, you know what, the size is here. I'm just going to buy it right now. So I paid for it. And then obviously it came in my mind, my spirit, that, okay, they're trying to get rid of brick and mortar. They're pushing trade online more and more and more. Why? You get better discounts. So people are going to buy online more because you get better discounts. You might get $10 off a pair of sneakers, or I don't know, 10% off something, or 5%. So everyone's trying to save a few quid because everyone you want to save money, right? And and then on top of that, a lot of companies, a lot of workplaces are doing hybrid or remote work now. Okay, since the so-called epidemic, the C-19, and what that's going to happen is going to put a tight squeeze on sandwich places and coffee shops and even your regular stores as well. So sometimes, during lunch hour, if it's a nice day, you might take a walk on the high street, depending on where you work. Or go hour. You know what? Let me go and check out. Let me go and get some. Let me go and grab something for myself. Let me go and look at clothes or whatever, or I don't know, uh, cologne, or let me do some shopping. All these things are being diminished, and that's another squeeze to the brick and mortar, because people are enticed to buy online. Therefore, less foot traffic, leading to the closure of brick and mortar stores as well. And then obviously with the influx of not influx with the lack of jobs as well, and a lot of companies closing, there's a lot more competition as well for certain jobs. So one job could have one opportunity. Then there's like 100, 200 applications. And they're using AI technology as well to sift through everything, because they want basically the right sort of slogans and headings, which will be scooped out from each resume to sort of downsize uh, people that have that key specific experience. Otherwise, before, if you had experience in a particular field but it wasn't in that particular technology, for example, if you're in IT, they would still hire you. Right now, if you're in I don't know, ID verification software, for example, they want someone in that same from that kind of similar sort of spectrum. Otherwise they would take people from compliance before and all that kind of thing. I'm just giving that as an example. All right, let's carry on. This world is dying.
It says right here, they have not paid the rent for a while, so this is why they're closing. They have abandoned the store.
Look at that. They haven't paid the rent. These are stores in Beverly Hills. Beverly Hills. If you watch Pretty Woman, another good movie, right? They show what's that bird's name? The one who's a prostitute. I forgot her name, man. Anyway, Pretty Woman. It's an iconic movie. Now, the woman who plays the prostitute in it, she walks into a high-end store, and the snobby Edomite women in there tell her to go away because she wasn't dressed appropriately. Okay? And this is what, 34 years ago? That movie came out in 1990. I look at it 34 years later. It was popping and things are happening, and you had your high-class people going to hotels and you had your so-called supercars everywhere. You still got that to a certain degree in certain areas of California, right? But those places are cordoned off, and they're like sort of like those private neighborhoods which have security, you know. And I'm sure a lot of those real high-end people have bunkers underneath their mansions, possibly leading tunnels to where the so-called elites may go, depending on their level of success, so-called success, or the level of selling out, or if the so-called elites need them when that time comes. But they're not going to get that far anyway. Look at this. They couldn't pay the rent. The rents must be astronomical as well.
So they still probably own money on the rent. A lot of people are behind the rent in Venice. Great art space for lease.
Who's this? Felice, Homan Mabubi, Marissa Renfro.
Right next to it, a shoe store, also for lease. For lease. And this is just one block from Rodeo Drive.
You know what people say, innit? If I had a dollar for every time, if I got a dollar for every time this guy said Felice, get a nice kickback.
This is the famous Brook Brothers store on Rodeo Drive. Before I tell you about this, right across the street, this place is also for lease. So if you have money, come down here, open a store in Beverly Hills. This corner place for rent, this is where the famous Brooks Brothers store was. Out of business, and years ago there was a Tommy Hilfiger store in there, I remember that. But on and off, they had like a Louis Vuitton pop-up store here, not too long ago. Between Alexander McQueen on Rodeo Drive and Amiri, store available. I remember Bijan being on the other side, so they moved over here. I don't know if the rent was cheaper on this side here, but also this place, you can only get inside if you have an appointment. And I've been here so many times, I have never, ever, ever seen anybody buy stuff in here or even a person in the store. I've seen pictures of presidents buying in this store here. I just wonder, how much does a store like this rent for? I mean, if you sell something for $15,000-$20,000 a jacket, maybe you make the rent, but I have no idea how much the rent is. Looks like somebody just leased the store right next to Louis Vuitton, but whoever was in there before, out of business. Even at the Rodeo collection, where they have a lot of plastic surgeon, this big store is out of business for lease. The whole Bijan, I never even seen that store before. Looks like there's nobody in there. I just peeked into the door, so they have like a nice office in there, so it is open. For lease. Sometimes you walk by, you just see those big billboards, but they tear down this building behind it. Took forever. Boulevard. And you see where all the flags are. This is the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. Also, the corner shop here is empty for lease. And right here on the corner used to be Escada. Been here for a long, long time. But I heard they just moved. They didn't go out of business. But I'm just wondering, why did they move? Did the rent get so more expensive, or did they just want to move somewhere else? This building used to be Nike Town, right here on Wilshire. How does Nike go out of business? I mean, I don't think they have too much
online trading, because they want to they promote, as mentioned, online sales. You get a better discounts, and people want to purchase online. And because another thing is, the world is such a horrible place right now. People usually use the internet as escapism. So they got their little rooms, probably all dark and everything. They got their little neon lights in there and all that kind of stuff, and they watch classic things from the 80s and 90s. Especially guys in a certain age. Even youngsters prefer that era, which they were born in, the 80s or 90s. Which was the sort of last creme de la creme, of the Western world. The 80s and 90s. The movies were better. The atmosphere was better. The atmosphere was more liver. So people live through movies and shows. and that's why for a lot of the time you don't really see a lot of people, especially here in the UK. I don't know, I'm sure it's like that in the States as well, but you don't really people live sort of like within their cave, so to speak, because it's escapism. Movies are escapism, and people sort of create sort of like a little sort of man cave in their house, where they sit there on the internet and just watch movies and shows and you know and get high and sort of like live their youth through old shows and stuff like that and nostalgia because especially these heathens, this is it for them. They're not gonna get their heyday back. Okay, they're not gonna get it back. They got nothing. You know, they got no pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I mean, they got no pot of gold. Period. It's over for them. But for you, Jakes, there's bigger and brighter things coming.
Foot traffic here, but out of business. Remember Wyona Ryder when she got caught shoplifting right here at Saks Fifth Avenue? She stole over $5,500 worth of stuff, but this whole building is empty now. But from what I heard is they moved over to this building. They just reopened, but still, this whole building is empty. This is where famous Barney's used to be. They moved out. I don't know if they're bankrupt or not, but this is where Saks Fifth Avenue is now. They moved into this building. Maybe the rent was lower than this.
All right, let's go into a bit of the British one. Now, this Edomite, right, travels all over the world. Okay, different parts. Okay, looking at slums and real sort of deprived areas. Now he's going through England as well, right? Let's watch look at both sides of the equation, the UK and America. And there's some other great videos as well showing, because like my local town center, right, which is about half a mile away, all the major banks have shut down. They've shortened their hours as well. They've got rid of staff. All the major stores, for example, we used to have a Woolworths here 30 years ago. We've got no more Woolworths. All the major stores, Nike Town, all the major sports outlets, all the major UK brands, your stores, all that kind of thing, are all shutting down. So what you got there is like these one, like in America, you have dollar stores. We call it a pound store. You get cheap goods and services. Like you can get, I don't know, clothes, pegs for clothes. If you put your clothes in a washing line, shampoo, hair gel, things like that.
Stagnation. However, what happened to the hopes and dreams everyone had for their nation back then? What happened to New Labour's promise that things could only get better? I returned to the country of my birth to see for myself. Well, it really does deserve its name, Foggy Albion, in this miserable damp weather that this nation is famed for. But let's see how life is progressing for people who don't live in the Roman city of Londinium. Judging by what I've seen here in Plymouth, things ain't going too well. It's getting better. It's getting better? Yeah. You sound very positive about your city. Yes. Okay. I mean, because without offending you, but when I look around, I imagine Plymouth was much nicer in the past than it is now. I don't think it was, actually. But I mean, I see shops boarded up. I see people sleeping homeless. I imagine the 70s, maybe in the 80s, that kind of thing didn't exist. Or maybe I'm wrong. I think you're wrong. I think it existed, but it was hidden. Now, not tomorrow, but now. Because, my friend, one day, my friend, one day your breath will leave your body. I'm a little bit old, so what is this called? Like what you're doing? Cosplay. Cosplay, got you. Yeah. And who are you with the horns?
I'm just an original character.
Okay.
So I came up with it last night. So
you're the most unique one here.
Yeah.
And what have you got? Look at it. We used to build things like this. Magnificent. So long gone and so far behind. Look, centre of a British city, a major British city. Homeless people just sleeping rough. You can't help but think when you see things like this that Britain's glory days, Britain's best days are so long gone and so far.
You heard it. Britain's glory days and their heyday has long gone. Yes, it is. Okay? because nothing stays the same forever. What goes up must come down. Okay, so you Edomites, it's your last hoorah. All right.
Far behind us, and the truth is, I can't see how we ever get them back. Look at.
We heard what he said. He goes, he can't see how they're going to get their glory days back. You're not going to get them back, Esau. You're not going to get them back. All right, 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9, because Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
The state of this place, and look at this. The Great Western Hotel, a beautiful old building, built probably in Victorian times. Look at it. We used to build things like this, magnificent buildings. And look at the squalor and what it's been reduced to. Look, it's even got up here a mosaic, the Spanish Armada, leaving Spain to come be defeated by the British. Look at it, this place. The amount of money spent on it. And now just destroyed and, well, probably full of homeless people and drug users. What a sad, sad state of affairs for this once great nation. Why are you here in Plymouth?
You know, when they go through different parts of the UK, this is Plymouth, right? This is more up north, I believe. Okay, when you go through parts of London and other places like that, okay, when they see deprived areas, they're going to blame so-called black and brown people, right? But when then other deprived areas, but the thing is, the black and brown people are actually working. They got shops and stores, all right? But when you go to Edomite areas, now I don't see not one person of color during this video, all right? During this video, except when they come to a place owned by some Pakistani Elamites, and that was a shithole anyway. Their hotel, that's Elam for you, but that was just one aspect. But they still had a business though. These Edomites are homeless. They're on the street. Who these Edomites going to blame here? You know, you're going to blame your own kind. Then they blame the government. They always need somebody to blame. They're not going to look at themselves. They're not going to look at their history. They believe the lies that their forefathers told them, that they actually helped the world by colonizing it, not knowing all the real details. These motherfuckers actually think that they helped the Israelites, the so-called black man in America, or the so-called Native Indian man, by saying that you guys were, what's the term? Uncivilized. When actually it's these devils who are uncivilized. You know? Look at their track record. Do these crackers ever leave anybody alone? Then they wonder why, you know? You want to use a worldly term, it's called karma, bitch. You know? You know? Like that song by Mobb Deep. You know, this is the start of your ending.
I came here like over 10 years ago.
But why?
So I wanted to go. I just ended up in Plymouth.
So is it getting better or
I never
worse?
wanted to stay here. No, I'm not going to stay here. I came out the bus.
You've been here 10 years. You are staying here. You're never going anywhere.
Yeah, I go.
Where are you going to go to?
Germany.
Is it?
Because the country is done. I mean, you can't see a doctor, you can't see a dentist, you can't
That's
get a
interesting.
flat.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? Like the basic
Yep.
stuff. I'm not talking about like.
So are you saying Plymouth's getting worse or Britain's getting worse, or what's your opinion?
Yeah, the whole UK. I mean, unless you've got like lots of money and big pockets, I think you can compensate somehow. Like, but lots of things like lots of things have changed. I mean, it wasn't that bad 10 years ago, so people struggling a lot. So.
Well, look at this. Just one more example of what's happened to this town, and probably what we're going to see in many towns as we take our tour across the country. At the old Phoenix pub, which was probably at one stage a bit of an institution. Brits used to love coming to the pub after.
Yep, all the pubs are shut now. There's no pubs hardly in my area, and if they are, the drinks are so overpriced, people are not going. And if there are people going in there, it's just many old folk, really, really old folk, and very few and far in between. And yeah, so the pubs are dead as well. You know, the clubs are shut. I believe from our last few videos in the UK, you got over 1,500 to 2,000 clubs, nightclubs have shut down. All right, and numerous pubs. All right, your local amenities in terms of going to the bathroom, taking a piss, or a number one or a number two, they are shutting. They're not even there. So if you do plan a journey, you're going supposedly to go out somewhere, you have to make sure that, okay, are there public amenities where I'm going to? You know, for the most part, you can still manage, you know, but you got to make sure that wherever you go, you know, especially things being online these days, check out the fact that, you know, is there public amenities there so you can go to the bathroom if you need to, you know what I mean? And that's just the way it is right now, you know. Telephone boxes not there, so for a lot of older people to make emergency calls if they don't have a phone at home or don't have a mobile phone or whatever, Telephone boxes are not there, and if they are, there's like one, very very minuscule amount. Right? There's pubs all shut down, nightclubs are shut down. You got homeless people, banks are shutting down. There's piss and shit in the street. There's trash everywhere. And you've got these Eastern Europeans that have come over from Russia and Poland. They're filthy. These Edomites, they don't know how to even wrap up their trash when it's trash day. They just chuck it in the middle of the street. And you've got Edomites getting vexed with other Edomites. They don't want them here. And these racist South African Edomites that come over here too, the British Edomites don't like them. They go back to South Africa. Go back to wherever the fuck you're from, Deutschland or whatever.
Working down the docks, or here in Plymouth maybe on the naval ships, come, meet the lads, have a pint before going home for their dinner. But now, this part of the community is just, destroyed. Look at it. Look at the Phoenix now. This one definitely isn't going to rise from the flames.
And the pub is called the Phoenix. Isn't there that famous image where Esau thinks he's going to rise out of ashes like a phoenix? This is the demise of Esau, man. Look at that. Okay, it's called the Phoenix. And he said, even the Edomite, the bored-headed Edomite said that, this one's not going to rise out of the ashes. Or, he said, this one's not going to rise again. Called the Phoenix. Right? You got some decent artwork, though. It's a bit of graffiti and all that. That's trying to sort of like, I think some of the local council pays certain artists to paint up boarded up places to make it look a little brighter. You're going to see in the video where boarded up houses have painted windows and doors on them just to make it look a little neater on the street, disguising it. How like women put on makeup? They put makeup on the streets, literally, right? To disguise derelict houses, with drawn on painted windows and curtains and doors to make it look like there's someone living there. You're going to see soon.
Famous Phoenix pub.
Yes.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I think it's been derelict for quite a few years.
Have you ever had a drink in the Phoenix?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, I had the impression it was quite rough.
It looks it, doesn't it?
There's so much boarded up and destroyed around it. It's such a pity. You've got these beautiful buildings in Plymouth, and so many of them are destroyed. Well, that was Plymouth. Let's now go to the railway station, buy a ticket, and see what the rest of the country has to offer. Hopefully, a little bit more than this place. So giving it the real lowdown. You can see the little architectural details. Other it says Somerset House. That's because we're down by Somerset in the West Coast. But there was money here before. People built things properly in Britain in the past, and now we just let these old buildings that in other countries. You think in Czech Republic, in Prague, they'd let it get like this? No, they wouldn't. They'd keep it restored. But here in Britain, we don't give a shit about our architectural history.
The Czech Republic's going to fall as well.
And so that's why beautiful old buildings like this that we once built by craftsmen and stonemasons, nowadays, looks like this. Absolute fucking shit.
All right, it's about here. The house is painted up 2855.
Ben! Western Super Nightmare.
It is indeed.
Wow, crikey.
It's an area called Western Supermare, okay, but he's calling it Western Super Nightmare.
It's a little bit run down. This is Britain. This is the first world country. We are, I think, the 6th biggest economy in the world, or 5th or 7th, something like that. But when you look around here...
Yeah, but how did you get there, Esau? Huh? How did you get there? How did you get there? How did you get there? Righteous dealings. Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. That's how you got to a first world country, cracker. Esau, the so-called white man. Ecclesiasticus 10 and 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that's happening in real time. All right? You got a lot of Jakes that are doing better than Esau. You don't want to get it twisted. We still got the curses on us because the curses are going to stay until Yahweh Shai returns. But you're going to see a little pleasant bursts, if I put it that way, of Jake's doing well, and you yourself being in the truth, even though you go through what you go through, you doing better than the damn heathen. You know what I mean? You know, you may not be a millionaire, but you're doing better than the heathen. You know?
Where is the trickle-down effect? Fifth world country. We are, I think, the sixth biggest economy in the world, or fifth or seventh, something like that. But when you look around here, where is the trickle? It's a little bit run down. This is Britain. This is the first world country. We are, I think, the sixth biggest economy in the world, or fifth or seventh, something like that. But when you look around here, where is
Europe is a bottomless pit. Okay, nothing grows in England. These Edomites, if you look at old footage, didn't even know how to eat a banana until the 60s. All right, all the fruit, all the exotic things, all the silks, all the gold, everything comes out of the countries they conquered that they deem shithole countries today. All right, first world country. You said back in the 1800s, this country was a third world country. All right, they've turned into a first world country, namely being in India for 300 years. Stealing and pillaging that country, because India was a first world land at one point and very clean. Right now it literally is a shithole, but that's because of what Esau's doing. Why is Haiti a shithole? Because of Esau's doing. Why is Latin America a shithole? Because of Esau's doing. Why is America a shithole? Because of Esau's doing. The so-called white man's destroying everything. All right, you're reaping what you sow, devil.
Where's the trickle-down effect? Where is that money generated in London, in the city, coming down and being spread to towns like this? It's hard to see. What's happening?
Hello, mate. I just went and chatted to one of the homeless fellas here. I used to go to school with Tom.
They're resorts and walks. It's so local social services say. Almost like the summer and being spread to towns like this. It's hard to see. What's happening?
Hello, mate. I just went and chatted to one of the homeless fellas here. I used to go to school with Tom.
Okay. Where are you living?
On the street at the moment.
On the street? Bloody hell. What's that like in the winter? I can't imagine it's like the summer than the winter.
Nice. This is the second
There's mainly homeless Edomites, right?
time I've done it.
Where do you literally like sleep at night then? Excuse my ignorance, but
underneath there,
right.
and then
Shit.
I got up at some point and went round to the back of the Sovereign Centre.
So in this cold, nasty weather, you're literally outside. Are you looking for a place to live?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
And what do the government say? What does like the local social services say?
They're still looking.
No one comes to these British holiday resorts anymore because it's so bloody expensive. I can go to Spain if I want to, get guaranteed sunshine. For what, 100 quid sometimes? Go down to Benidorm? Why would you spend hundreds of pounds coming to places like Weston-super-Mare? And hence, families don't come anymore. And hence, these places, these old hotels built in the 1800s, are now just derelict. Look, even the entrances have been concreted over. There's no hope that anyone's ever going to come here in the future. My God, what a place. Look at this. Britain is such a seafaring nation. John Cabot was actually a slave trader.
Yeah, look at that. The Cabot Court Hotel, John Cabot was an actual slave trader. All right? Excuse me, 1 second.
I'm surprised that his name still adorns this hotel because, well, many people on the left don't like John Cabot, although he invested much of his money in cities like Bristol, built up the city of Bristol, in fact, John Cabot. And yeah, still you can see his name here. And a picture of a ship and a picture of old John Cabot, an explorer and slave trader. Interesting history down here on the west coast of Britain. Joe?
Yes, Bob.
Cheers, mate. Absolute pleasure.
My pleasure, mate.
So glad that we bumped into such an erudite man. Is that the word? Erudite? I think so. Ben, what do you reckon to our Western as we leave?
I mean, I've never heard of the word erudite. I guess it's nice. I've been referred to worse. Is that a nice word? Because Weston-super-Mare is definitely not erudite. It's a shitter.
Ben keeping it real as always. Right then, we're going to go on to another town now. Somewhere in the Midlands. Some cheeky blinder country. Should we get out of it? Let's go. Joe.
Adios, amigos.
Look after yourself, mate.
Bless you,
Nice to meet you.
Bless you.
We're out of here. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, why am I just showing people around the world the worst of Britain? And you're right. We've chosen some places that don't have the best reputation. But, hey, don't shoot the messenger. If you don't like it, do something about it. Speak to your local councillor. Get your towns tidied up. I mean, look at this place. Flipping it. Look at Psycho Tattoo.
Let's get this. You don't need to see this. All right. He's talking a couple of.
Okay. What's it like living around here?
Okay, this girl's a prostitute. Okay, and even the prostitutes are Edomites too. All right, so.
You're alright. Why have you got a black eye?
God.
Hello? Huh?
A man punched me.
A man punch you?
Yeah,
What man?
some guy I know. He's an idiot.
Your boyfriend?
No, I wouldn't say that. Definitely not.
You're right.
Not really, of you. What you got on now, change for any pop, do you, love?
Oh, I might have. Let me have a look in my pocket.
Pretty beautiful.
What's it like living around here?
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, I can imagine.
You don't do business, do you?
Eh?
Do the business?
Do I want business? Nah. I'll give you a tenner to go and do whatever you want to do with it, but...
She goes, do you want business? Okay. And now she's going to elaborate on what business is.
Good man.
No
Thank
business
you.
today.
I need some-
What do you mean business? What's that even mean?
Jiggy jiggy.
Oh, jiggy.
She goes, he goes, what business? What do you mean? She goes, jiggy, jiggy, you know, and she's got a black eye, you know. See, these curses are coming on these Edomites, man, you know. That's Deuteronomy 30, verse 7, right? Where the curses are coming upon our enemies.
Jiggy. No, I'm okay for jiggy.
You know, hasn't fully unraveled on them yet, but you can see, you know, bits of it getting on them, you know. Because some of these Edomites are still living good, the ones that are high up on the chain. Some of the mediocre ones are still okay, but they're feeling it because they know that they can feel slowly. They don't know that it's all biblical. They can feel that their world is dying around them, all right? And they want somebody to blame. And that's why they got this focus on this migrant thing and, and then they sometimes stage a lot of, some of these videos you see of like a homeless Jake beating the shit out of an Edomite woman or whatever, that could be staged, right? And all these flash robberies as well, where they're using brown faces. Okay, that's to sort of ramp up the anger towards black and brown people, right? So the race wars can kick off Jacob's trouble, because this is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble.
Jiggy today. But thank you for the offer.
Thank you,
You look after yourself, yeah?
Good man.
Take care. Stay safe, yeah? Well, there you go. I was just asked if I want... Yeah. Oh, okay. Forum. In the north of England. Hello, mate. How you doing? You good? Taking it down?
Kind of.
Yeah?
Just sort of structurally making it a bit safer.
Flipping It's probably been there for 200 years, isn't it? Is it your house?
Renting.
Is that right, yeah? But you're not local. Or your accent doesn't sound very local.
No, down south, Guildford, New Farnham.
Yeah, I know it. I'm from the south myself. But what made you move to Horndon, if I can ask you?
I have no idea.
One of life's mysteries.
Yeah.
Do you regret it?
Cost.
It's so much cheaper, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, down south, you're not getting a house for less than 250 probably. And here, I don't know how much the houses are, but
400.
400, yeah?
Pretty.
Is there no work here in the area at all? What do people do? Do they go to the other big cities? Like, do they go to Sunderland for work? Or
Probably unemployed.
right, is it like that, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell. Okay.
Well, luckily I'm signed up for mental health, so
Okay.
as you can tell, I must be fucking insane.
You must be mad to be trying this project. Oh, that was a man who's moved up here from the south because it's cheaper to live here. He's renting his place much, much cheaper than he would do if he was down south. And so,
Obviously, because £400 or £500 a month, right, was rent that you could pay in usually Jake neighborhoods in the late 80s, early 90s. I would say 80s more, mid to late 80s, right? And at that time, I think it was like, £500 back in the mid to late 80s was like about $1,000, I believe, more or less, depending on the exchange rate. And it was on average, £1 was usually about $2 at that time. And so the Brits at that time, when we went shopping to Canada or America, the pound, you could get a little bit more for your money. That's also diminished as well. And that guy said he's paying about £400 a month in terms of rent. Why? Because no one's going to pay thousands and thousands of pounds for rent in a crappy area like that, where you got criminals and prostitutes and um, crime. A lot of people that are unemployed and houses that are boarded up. And you're going to see next how these houses, how they're trying to cover up houses with literal makeup, to make it look like that it's not derelict.
Yeah, some people move up to these little villages. I'm tempted myself. Buy a house here for 10 grand.
What, whatever. Got loads of different ones. Got the Benz.
And you got guys selling stolen shit on the streets, which happens a lot.
Do you want got pink ones as well? Ones for computers as well. They bought that.
Cheers, mate. Is the town centre up this way, my love?
Yeah.
Thank you. Anything up there? No, nothing. Flipping heck.
You sort of stay of the Edomite woman. Where is she again?
Well, they bought that.
Cheers, mate.
Look at that. It's a crackhead Edomite trying to sell stuff. Yeah. Look at the state of the Edomite woman. You go back, watch old footage of Edomite women, right? In England in the 40s, 30s, 40s, and maybe even 50s. None of them are fat like this, unless they were maybe 18, in the mid 70s or 80 years old, right? None of them are wearing their drawers on the outside, which is basically yoga pants, right? They're all dressed to a certain degree with decorum and manners. Well, the kind of manners that Esau assumed that they had, but they look better than they did now. So this is another example of the fall of society, man. Look at these. Just look at the state of these heathens. And our women are right behind them.
Thank you. Anything up there? No, nothing. Flipping heck. Nothing here. Everything's closed down. And we just met a shoplifter who was trying to sell some headphones on the street. People are trying to make a way or trying to survive on the streets of Horndon, including going to the local big city, nicking some stuff from a shop, coming down here to their village, selling it on the street. He was literally going door to door, knocking on doors, trying to sell his headphones. Well, look, the streets here don't seem to have very romantic sounding names. No Krasnaya Army Ulica here, but 7th Street. Below it is 6th Street, 5th Street, and so on. And it seems the higher up we go, the worse the houses get. Look, everything's abandoned, but imagine living in this house, say. To all intents and purposes, a normal house.
Let's read a couple of scriptures. 1 second. Ecclesiasticus 3. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. What did Esau plant? His evil world. Now his evil world is being plucked up, which was planted. And it was planted for the last 500 years. And now the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yeshua is plucking it up. So a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant, which was when we Israelites were working Esau's different colonies around the world. We were planting for them, literally planting, building their homes, creating all the inventions, but which they took credit for, for example, and a time to pluck, right? Which the Lord is destroying Esau's world as we speak, which we're seeing in America and the UK. And there's so many other videos that show, more horrendous, beautiful viewings of Esau's demise. And a time to pluck up that which is planted, all right? A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, okay? Now what's going to be built up is our kingdom. But what's the time to break down? Esau's world, okay? A time to weep and a time to laugh. Now Esau's time is to weep. Our time is to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. Our time is going to be time to dance, But for the heathen, it's going to be the time to mourn, Let's see which we can read out this one. Yeah, Ecclesiasticus 31:8. A time to love, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. Now we're coming to the time of war. The time of peace is going to be in the kingdom. All right. Let's go back to the vid.
Maybe they're just regular family working jobs. But next to them, or surrounding them, are all these abandoned houses.
Actually, let's put one more. Ecclesiasticus 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And this is literally darkened because there's no windows to look out of, you know? Not a pot to piss in and not a window to throw out of. And that's literal, all right? Because you're going to see these painted up houses. You know, you talk about that Edomite that was, doing his wall up. He said that, he's on benefits, so therefore, he's got some mental situation where he's on benefits, so he's not working, and a lot of the people in that area where he resides are unemployed. You could tell those fat women you saw with the pushchairs, with the children. You think those women work? Hell no. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Work is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. The music is shit now as well. Okay, and people aren't playing music like they used to. You can't hear music, coming out of people's homes. You can't hear, like when I was a youngster in the 80s, there used to be a Benjamite guy who used to live in our neighborhood with his family. A lot of Benjamin in the Israelite foreigner neighborhood in West London. Right? In the evenings when he'd come home from work, right? Now I understand what he was doing. He's probably like, having a whiskey or a drink or whatever, and he'd always have jazz playing. You'd hear the window, you could hear jazz or calypso coming out of his house. People don't do that no more. People don't put good quality music on no more, where you could appreciate if you're walking by or if a car's driving by, you say, oh, that's a bad tune. People don't do that anymore. A lot of us still do. That's Jake, because we know what's coming, and so we're a little bit pepped up in the spirit. But for the most part, with the rest of the world, they're not doing it. And plus, then on the flip side, the music is trash as well, because this is Generation Z, the last generation, and they lack mental stability, and their mentality is of a low caliber, and their so-called IQ level is low, and the lack of comprehension in the English language and wording is real low as well, and they're retarded basically. And then on top of that, they're like little gremlins. Like gremlins with all the colors in the hair and all that kind of thing. They kind of remind me of that, Let's read verse 5 also. Also when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fears shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. People are mourning. People, if you walk around the streets of your local town, look at everybody's faces. Not many people are happy, but we are, because we know what's coming. Look at that. See this house there? That's a painted on door.
Shuttered and boarded. This is a dying town.
This is a whole street. All right, painted up. And some of the windows are not finished yet, because I guess the workers have to come from the local council or government or whatever and finish up the paintwork to disguise empty houses. They're boarded up, and where they're boarded up, right, it's all concrete, but they've got painted windows and doors and shit.
Of the northeast, Horndon is never coming back. It's never going to revive its glory days. There's no work in the areas. The pits will never be reopened. This is it. Today is as good as it will ever get from this village.
You got that? You're damn right. That's everything. Actually, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse. But in terms of goodness, yeah, you're right. But it's only downhill for you damn devils.
And that's sad to see. Look at this, what they've done here to smarten up the streets of abandoned buildings. Over there you can see that house, obviously abandoned, number 66. And here's abandoned too, and I thought actually it was some blinds in a window, but it's not. It's a picture of blinds in a window. And look at this. It's not a real door. It's a picture of a door. I suppose the council want to kind of make the place look a bit better. And more up here. Look up here. This is so freaky. The council, I suppose, to make the place look better, have put these fake windows and fake doors on the buildings so it doesn't look totally fucking derelict and abandoned. Look at this.
There you go. Fake windows.
That's not a curtain. That's a picture of a curtain. They stole your bike?
They stole my bike. Like, literally, they took all the ignition off it so that I couldn't ride it.
Right.
And then there were 4 attempts to take that, and on the 5th attempt they took it. And then I got another one, and we've got 5 attempts on that bike. But I put all sorts of motion sensors and little things.
What about burglaries? Anyone tried burgling you?
I've had the doors banged a few times. Girl over there got attacked. It's really not a nice area.
Look at this old row of shops. Now a Greggs, a phone book, a boxing club. Oh, that's interesting. A boxing club. And obviously a vape shop. Sorry, my love, sorry. What I've noticed on this trip across Britain or across England is we love to vape. I've never...
Well, yeah, because stresses are being increased and people are going to vape, people are going to smoke, people are going to vape, people are on benefits and whatever last money they have, they're going to buy alcohol, they're going to buy a vape, people are going to buy drugs. And people that can't support their drug habit, like that woman or that Edomite woman you saw in the Edomite male is going to be selling stolen goods and the Edomite woman is going to be selling her, what's between her legs, and she's going to be selling her lips and her chest, so men can use and abuse her and she can get paid, because she said to him, innit? He said, what kind of business, you're in, whatever. She goes, yeah, jiggy.
Never been anywhere in the world where we love vaping so much. And check it out. The biggest puff, disposable, 2,400 puffs. What a place. And a Greggs, of course. In Britain, everywhere you go, there's a Greggs. And that is the Horndon Greggs.
That's just a basic sandwich place, which most towns have, your baguettes and your croissants and all that kind of thing. That's your basic stuff for the elderly that usually come in there, buy a fresh baked bread or whatever, whatever pension they can get, whatever they can afford.
Check it out. You have a sausage roll? Yep.
Look at that. That's an Edomite man talking to them. He's not a foreigner, right? Go back, say, 20 years. Go back even 30 years or 40 years. You make a comment like that, oh, did you buy a sausage roll, right? Because, the Brits or the English have that sort of humor, like where they talk a lot. They say, good morning, mate, how you doing? Or like, how's your day going? Like, there's always a bit of what they call banter, talk, conversation, And these people, and that Edomite said, would you buy a sausage roll? The Edomite woman, the elderly woman, walked out without looking his way, and she's not even giving a shit. Because I tell you one thing, that love of many waxing cold is also like coming in there as well. And some on a real high level where people are deleting each other. But these people don't give a shit. That conversation, that good morning, good afternoon is dead. Because, England was known for, that la-di-da, tea time and cakes and biscuits and all that kind of thing. And good morning, good day, sir, and all that kind of stuff. And taking off your top hat and, in the presence of a woman and all that shit. That's all dead as well,
Good. What if I go up here? Is there anything up here that's decent to check out?
Oh, the park.
The park? Oh, okay.
Oh, the EBC park from down there.
Yeah? Oh, there we go. You've got a park. Why are you running this place down? You've got a lovely park.
We've got the beach.
The beach?
Yeah, we've got the beach.
Okay, I'll be down there later. Thank you very much. Watch out for shoplifters.
I do.
Okay, good. Right. They said it's a nice park here. Let's go and see what that's like. Check out the Park of Horndon. What is it called? Horndon. I don't know. Well, we're in Memorial Park here, in the very centre of Horndon. Memorial dedicated to the men of this village, from these little terrace houses all around us, who went off to war to fight the nation's battles on the continent. Many of them didn't return. And they went off thinking that the deal was, if they would sacrifice themselves, that in return, Benjamin,
That one, love.
I'm ready to win some money.
That one.
7 and 9, 79.
Oh, I've got
And
70.
you got a bingo place, which is standard for most elderly, because they want something to do during the day. Now let's go to sunny California. Let's check that out.
This building. See, when you ride your little bike around, you see all those empty stores. I'm on Brighton Avenue. Harari store is closed.
You recognize that name, Harari, right? That's Amalek. Like that guy with the glasses, who looks like Penfold from Danger Mouse. That's Harari as well. The one who's a Mo.
Places for rent. And then you got Bedford Drive. A lot of doctors' offices are here. But the store on the corner is closed. This beautiful restaurant is closed. I think they used to sell sunglasses here, but right next door, this is a famous doctor's office. This is where Elvis Presley had his eye doctor. Also, lots of other celebrities came here. This place is for lease. And there's actually a picture of Elvis standing right here. Beverly Hills Nail Design is open. This one is not, even though they had a 50% off sale in here. Out of business. I would love to know why so many businesses are out of business. Is it because of the rent so high? What is it? Right on Bedford and Santa Monica used to be the Riot 8. Is it because people were stealing too much, they had to close down, smash and grab? We don't know. This whole place closed down. This used to be the AT&T store. Out of business. It's pretty big too. Nice fire escape, looks good. Office space for rent. Villa Blanca, restaurant and bar. Looks like they're gonna reopen here. They still have everything taped in front of it. Taped off. Eno Studio, opening soon. Rebag, out of business. Amorino Gelato Al Naturale ice cream store, Police, right next to Shake Shack. What do you think? It's not like the good old days anymore. Are you tired watching this video now? There's way more stores I want to show you they closed already. I don't even know what was it. I wonder what happened. There must have been a reason for them to move. They don't just move after 45 years. Do you know what happened? Was it the rent? Couldn't they make enough money? Did they owe money? Who knows? This place is pretty big too. Giuseppe Franco. It's been here for years. He cuts Arnold's hair. This is where Arnold smoked his stogies before. I wonder how much rent they pay here. But if you get like a haircut, they're around like 500 or something. I knew a few girls that got their haircuts here. Stallone's favorite pizza place. And then right next door, that restaurant closed down.
Even famous places where people, these so-called stars used to go to are shut down, So this place is done, and there's video after video after video of different parts of the UK and America where this world is dying. Okay? So this kingdom is not going to bounce back, all right? It's not going to be the first world it was once, okay? The so-called white man is going into slavery, pursuant to Revelations 39 and 10, all right? This is the start of Esau's ending, and it's only going to get worse for you damn devils and you heathens that are locked in with them. All right. The only people that are moving in to parts of America where there's a bit of sun shining are, heathens that are from parts of the world where it's worse, because Esau destroyed their world and they grew up in hellish conditions such as India or the Middle East or parts of Africa. Ham is coming in, the Hamites and stuff. They're going to come in to America because they're going to think that, oh, California, palm trees. They're not going to care about the closed up shops because to them it looks cleaner to what they, basically they're taking the best out of a worse situation. So to them, it's still paradise. You know what I mean? So they're going to come in. But for the most part, but that's the Lord just bringing them for judgment in America or even parts of the UK. But America, namely because America is going to be destroyed with nukes, All right, so I'm going to leave it there. All right. 2nd Ezra 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right. So Esau's world is ending. The world is not going to blow up. Only management of the earth and beyond is going to change hands into the hands of Jacob. Jacob is a so-called black, Hispanic, and native Indian, and those Israelites that are scattered to the four corners of the earth through slavery, Jake's marrying women of other nations, migration, etc., etc. All right, and you see a lot of Jake's marrying women of other nations: Indian women, Middle Eastern women, white women, so-called white women, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese women. Those women could be Israelites, but you got a lot of our people that look different today. You understand? All right, we're scattered everywhere. Hell, you could have a Jake that looks like a Chinese guy, right? A Judite that's married to a white-looking woman who's an Edomite, right? Or she could be an Israelite, but she looks white, and the children come out looking like Bruce Lee's children, and they're Judites. Or you could have an East Indian guy who looks like a right dothead, but he's an Israelite, but he married an Edomite woman, or a so-called black woman that's an actual Edomite, because her father's an Edomite, yeah. And the children come out with a sort of like with brown skin tone and curly hair, and they look like Ephraimites, but they're really Judites, for example. You're going to have a lot of combination of Israelite couples like that, all right? So we're scattered everywhere. We're hidden. Some of us are visible. Some of us are invisible, all right? But we're everywhere. Okay, and we're the most numerous nation on the planet Earth, pursuant to Hosea 1 and 10, man. All right? But anyway, I'm going to leave it there. All praise to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahshai, B'Shem Rakah Kodash, Shalom.